Have you ever faced a moment when it seemed like you had no strength left to keep going? When the weight of life felt heavier than you could bear? In those moments, even the simplest things, like getting out of bed or facing a new day, can become monumental challenges. Maybe you're facing that right now. A loss, a failure, a dream that feels too far away. Or perhaps it's just the accumulated exhaustion of daily struggles. You look around and wonder, how do I keep going? Where can I find strength when everything seems to be falling apart? These moments can leave us feeling paralyzed, but I want to remind you of something important. Even in the most difficult situations, there is a strength beyond what we can muster on our own. A strength that comes from God, available to us when everything seems impossible. But how can we access that strength? Let's reflect on this together. Finding the strength to keep moving forward can feel impossible when we're in the middle of a storm. When everything around us seems to be falling apart, our first reaction is often to search for strength within ourselves. But many times, we discover that our own strength has limits, that no matter how hard we try, we still feel like something is missing to help us rise again. I remember a close friend who faced a major financial crisis. He had lost his job, and with it came the fear of not being able to support his family. For months, he tried everything, applying for jobs, taking courses, but every door seemed to remain closed. In a moment of despair, he admitted, "I don't know what to do anymore. It's like I'm walking in circles with no way out." He tried to stay strong, but eventually realized he needed something beyond himself. That's when he began seeking the strength that comes from God. He told me that during one of his most honest prayers, he said, "Lord, I can't do this anymore. I need your help." And slowly he began to feel something different. It wasn't that his problems disappeared, but he found courage and peace to keep going. This reminds me of the story of Elijah, the prophet. In the Old Testament, Elijah had a moment when he felt he couldn't go on. After confronting the prophets of Baal and dealing with Jezebel's threats, he fled to the desert, exhausted and discouraged. He even said, "I have had enough, Lord. Take my life." 1 Kings 19:4. But God didn't respond with judgment. Instead, he sent an angel to care for Elijah. The angel brought food and water and said, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." 1 Kings 19:7. The message was clear. Elijah needed to be strengthened for the road ahead. And God was there to provide what he needed, even when he felt weak. How often are we like Elijah, exhausted, convinced we can't take another step? We forget that God is by our side, ready to strengthen us, even when we've reached our limit. I also think of a friend who faced the loss of someone she deeply loved. For months, she carried a heavy grief, trying to deal with it alone. But in a moment of vulnerability, she shared with me that every night she would pray, saying, "God, I don't know how to move forward, but I need you." And in that dependence, she found strength, not because the pain disappeared, but because she learned to trust that God was walking with her, one day at a time. The Bible constantly reminds us that we don't have to face our battles alone. In Isaiah 40:29-31, it says, "He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." This promise isn't about never feeling tired, but about finding strength beyond what we can manage on our own. It's about trusting that God renews, sustains, and gives us the next step, even when we feel like we can't take another. And maybe you're thinking, but how do I access that strength? How do I keep going when it feels like there's nothing left in me? I want to remind you of something simple yet powerful. Sometimes, strength begins with a small act of faith. A moment of honesty with God, like my friend in her prayer. A pause to breathe and recognize that you don't have to face everything alone. God never promised the journey would be easy, but He did promise to be with us every step of the way. As a friend once told me, the strength that comes from God doesn't remove the challenges, but gives us what we need to get through them. So, I want to invite you to reflect. Where have you been looking for strength? Have you been trying to face everything alone, or are you willing to let God be your strength? He's right there, ready to sustain you. All you need to do is take a step and trust that He will be there for the next one. If you've read this far, it's likely because, in some way, you're searching for the strength to keep going. Maybe you're tired, feeling like you've tried everything, but it still seems hard. I want to remind you that you're not alone in this feeling. Many of us have been in that place of doubt, exhaustion, and silence. But I also want to remind you of something even more important. You don't have to face this alone. The strength to keep moving forward doesn't always come as a grand moment or an instant transformation. Sometimes, it comes slowly, like a gentle breeze, in the small choices we make each day. I want to invite you to reflect on this. What is the next small step you can take today? It doesn't have to be something big. Maybe it's just taking a deep breath, getting up and going for a walk, or taking a moment to talk to God. You know, we often wait for strength to come before we act, but in many cases, it comes during the act. A friend once told me, sometimes you just need to take the first step, and God will put the ground under your feet for the next one. That thought stayed with me because it's exactly how He works. Today, I encourage you to do something practical. Take a piece of paper or even your phone and write down, what gives me the strength to keep moving forward? It might be someone you love, a dream still alive in your heart, or simply the hope for better days. Then write, where is God sustaining me today? It doesn't have to be perfect or profound. Just let these questions guide you to see that even in the hard days, God is present, renewing your strength. Remember, you don't have to do it all at once. Trust. Take one step at a time and let God's grace carry you. It's there, ready to sustain you, even when you don't realize it. Do you know what truly gives us the strength to keep moving forward? Finding our why or even our who. When we understand the reason we're fighting, something changes within us. That reason could be a dream, a promise from God, or even someone we love deeply. There is no more powerful fuel than knowing the purpose behind our struggles. Take a moment to think about this. Why are you fighting? For whom are you holding on? Maybe it's for your family, for a goal that seems distant, or simply for the faith that God has something greater in store for you. That why doesn't take away the difficulties, but it gives us the courage to face them, one step at a time. Author Viktor Frankl, who survived the horrors of the Holocaust, wrote something deeply meaningful in his book Man's Search for Meaning. Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how. This statement holds a profound truth. When we understand the purpose behind our battles, we discover strength we didn't know we had. And I want to remind you of something even more important. God is at the center of your why. Even if you can't see it now, He is working, guiding every step, even in the most challenging moments. His grace is the strength that carries us when ours runs out. Today, I invite you to pause and reflect. What is your why? Think about it, write it down, and carry that truth with you. Because even when it feels hard, that reason will be your anchor, and God will be your endless source of strength. As it is written in Isaiah 41:10, so do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. God is with you, and He will give you the strength to keep moving forward, always.